Hi, this is Moses Goldman. Welcome to my channel. And in today's video, we're going to talk about Warren Buffett, how to invest for beginners. So if you're a beginner or a millennial or teenager or someone starting out, you want to start investing, this is great content for you and I hope you like it. All right, so he did it again. Warren Buffett just made $2 billion in profit from the stock market, from his investments. That shows who he is. Genius, multi-billionaire investor, one of the finest investors in the history of humanity. And guess what? Warren Buffett did it again. He just made $2 billion in profit. Now, how did he make it? And this $2 billion, he made a profit within 1 year, in just 1 year. And so in this personal finance video, investing video, we're going to look at Warren Buffett, how to invest for beginners. We're going to learn some tips, on how Warren Buffett does it all. And I hope that you're going to walk away with a lot of good tips that you can use to invest or start investing. Now, so Warren Buffett's strategy is this: be fearful when others are greedy and be greedy when others are fearful. So what does that mean? Be fearful when others are greedy and be greedy when others are fearful. What does that mean? It means that is his key investment strategy, which he's been using for years. And this is the same idea that he used to make $2 billion. He just made $2 billion within 1 year from Japanese investment. So how did he do it? When the global crisis began around 2020, around August 2020, Warren Buffett invested $6 billion into 5 Japanese trading houses, the top 5 Japanese trading houses. And so this was classic Warren Buffett, vintage Warren Buffett, investing in the middle of crisis. And he did the same thing. If you remember, he did the same thing in 2008, 2009, in the middle of the global financial crisis. And what did he do? Warren Buffett invested $5 billion in Goldman Sachs, the finest investment house in the world. And so that was 2008, 2009. And then in 2020, Warren Buffett repeated the same thing, but this time he invested in the top 5 biggest Japanese trading houses. And so he's being vintage Warren Buffett, classic Warren Buffett, investing in the middle of a crisis when others are fearful and people are running away. This is what Warren Buffett does. And so he invested $6 billion into the top 5 Japanese houses in August 2020. And then about a year later, he's made $2 billion in profit, as Bloomberg News reported. And this is one of the finest investment profit or master stroke in the world. And so we're going to look at how he does it. How does Warren Buffett invest? And what can investors or beginners, millennials, teenagers, or people who are starting to invest, what can all of us learn from Warren Buffett's master strategy? And this is what he does. Now, like I said, his key investment principle is this: be fearful when others are greedy and be greedy when others are fearful. And like I said, he did this in 2008 by buying $5 billion worth of preferred shares in Goldman Sachs. Within a few years, he made billions of dollars in profit from that Goldman Sachs investment. And so what he does is, when he says, let's look at the greedy part. When he says that be greedy when others are fearful, it does not mean that, he's greedy, evil person. No. What it means is that in the middle of a crisis, there are opportunities. When people are selling their properties or their assets on bargain basement, discount, people are fearful, they are worried, they're anxious, and they're trying to sell their properties for cheap, that is when you go in and help them and buy those investments and give them peace of mind, and you also make a profit and also have a peace of mind for yourself. So this is what it means. Now, let's look at a few principles that Warren Buffett uses. Now, he buys from the best. When he's being greedy or he's aggressively buying, it doesn't mean that he just buys anything. No. What it means is that he buys from the best. And Warren Buffett calls this moat, M-O-A-T. It means that these are companies with moats, companies that have strategic advantages, that have strategic competitive advantages over their rivals. You know, they have some special niches or special trademarks or special market niches or market share or some copyrights, some strategic advantages that make the companies the best, and he always goes for the biggest and the best companies. What he does is that Warren Buffett goes for investments or companies that are already proven, are already tested. These are the biggest market leaders. They are the market leaders in their class. He does not go for investments that are untested. He doesn't go for investments that are unproven. That's why he doesn't like Bitcoin, for instance. You know, he goes for investments or ideas that have been proven over and over and over again for centuries, and he buys into companies that have been established for probably 60 years, 100 years, and that are the market leaders. And he did that in 2008 with the Goldman Sachs $5 billion investment. And then in 2020, he did it again by buying $6 billion worth of investment from the top 5 biggest Japanese trading houses. And what does that mean? Warren Buffett buys the best. He goes for the best. He buys the best. And there is a gentleman called David J. Schwartz. He is a gentleman who wrote this book, The Magic of Thinking Big. And what he said in this book is that go first class in everything that you're doing. Whatever you're doing, go first class. Buy from the best. Go with the best. Go for the best. Buy the best. And that's what Warren Buffett did. He bought the best by buying $5 billion worth of Goldman Sachs preferred shares in 2008 in the middle of the global financial crisis. And he did the same thing again by buying the best Japanese trading houses, the top 5 biggest Japanese trading houses. He invested $6 billion into these companies. In less than a year, he's already made $2 billion worth of profit from this investment. So that is what he does. Buy from the best. Buy the best. Go for established companies, established ideas, proven ideas. That's what Warren Buffett does. Now, let's also look at what he does again. He buys by making money right away. He makes money in the buy. What does that mean? He makes money in the buy. What it means that he buys at a huge discount. You know, so that by the time he's closing the deal, he's signing on the line, he's already made money. What does that mean? Let me give you an example. Let's say you're going to buy a stock, investing for beginners. You're buying stock market. You know, you are buying into the stock market and you're buying stocks as a beginner. You look for stocks that are undervalued, heavily undervalued, or stocks that have plunged or fallen sharply due to some news or something like that, so that the stock is already discounted. And by the time you buy it, within a day or two, the stock bounces and you begin to make money right away. It means that you've already made money in the buy. You've already made money in the buy. Let me give you another example. Let's say you're going to buy a real estate. You are investing in real estate as a beginner, or you are buying into real estate as a millennial. You're starting to invest, you know, as a millennial or as a beginner, and you're going to buy real estate. You do your homework on the type of property that you're going to buy. Let's say that property is in New York, it's in New York where I live, and you're going to buy that property, you do your homework, and you know that the property is on the market value of the property is $2 million. You try to look for a property that the owner is selling for about $500,000, $500,000, $500K. And so you do your homework and you try to bargain on that investment property, bargain hard, or look for undervalued properties. The owner simply doesn't know the total value of the house. And so, but you have done your homework and you know the market value of the house. And then you go in and you bargain, you look for investments or investment properties that are undervalued. So by the time you close the deal, you close on the house or you close on the property, you sign on the line. If the market value is $2 million and you're buying for $500,000, you've already made money. You've already made more than $1 million on that property by the time you sign. This is just an example. So this is what Warren Buffett does. He makes money in the buy. He buys at bargain basement prices. He buys when people are fearful. That's what we're talking about. He is greedy. He's aggressively buying when people are fearful or the companies are fearful. They're anxious. There's a crisis. That's when he stoops in. He steps in, or he dives in like an eagle and scoops up property or scoops up shares or scoops up investment assets. And he did it the same thing. He did it in 2008 in the middle of the global financial crisis. And Goldman Sachs was virtually begging him to invest, and he had huge reserves of cash from his company, Berkshire Hathaway. And then he invested $5 billion into Goldman Sachs. And within a year or two or three, he already made huge profit, billions of dollars in profit from his investments in Goldman Sachs. And remember, he bought from the best, Goldman Sachs, the best investment house in the world. That's what Warren Buffett did. And he also did it again in 2020 by buying the best Japanese trading houses, invested $6 billion into these trading houses at bargain basement prices when there was a crisis, global financial crisis, what is going on right now in the world. When people were worried, stocks are plunging, that's when he dived in and bought $6 billion worth of investment in the top 5 Japanese trading houses. And less than a year later, Warren Buffett has returned a profit. He's already made a profit of more than $2 billion as reported by Bloomberg News. And so if you work it out, this investment, he invested $6 billion, he's already made more than $2 billion of profit. That is more than 30% return on his money. This is vintage Warren Buffett. So if you're a beginner, you're starting out, this is Warren Buffett's strategy. Warren Buffett, how to invest for beginners in 2021, 2022, and beyond. And I hope that if you are starting out, you are investing as a beginner, this video is for you. Thank you very much. I hope you like it. Subscribe, like the video, comment, tell me the investments that you're making. Let's share ideas. Let's do this together. Support my work. Thank you very much. I love all of you. Have a great day. Bye.